the story of Kailash and a fairy. Once upon a time, in a beautiful jungle, there lived an honest and kind-hearted woodcutter named Kailash. His heart was filled with purity and goodness. He worked hard to provide for his family and brought happiness to others by helping the weak and elderly. Kailash had such a big heart that he would even set aside a portion of his earnings for the poor. One day, as Kailash was returning home from his shop with wood, he noticed a shining light coming from something unusual. As he went closer, he saw a fairy trapped there. The fairy had no way to escape the jungle.
"Are you okay, fairy?"
With sadness, the fairy replied, "I am stuck here, and I can't find a way out of the jungle." Kailash thought, "How can I help this fairy?" Then an idea struck him.
"Fairy, I will help you, but you must promise to follow my instructions."
The fairy happily agreed, and Kailash picked up a large piece of wood and made a raft for the fairy. He placed the fairy on the raft, and together they ventured into the jungle. When they reached inside, Kailash said to the fairy, "Fairy, now you can easily break this raft with your magic and get out." The fairy accepted Kailash's suggestion, and with her magic touch the raft broke and the fairy escaped from the jungle. She thanked Kailash profusely and offered to grant him a boon. Kailash refused, but the fairy insisted, "You have helped me with honesty, so I want to grant you a boon. Your heart is so big that you are always ready to help others. Therefore, I give you a boon that in every difficult time you will have a new idea to help you overcome that difficulty." Kailash accepted the fairy's boon with gratitude. He had never imagined that his honesty and kindness would bring him such a great blessing. Since then, the bond between Kailash and the fairy grew deeper. The fairy would sometimes return to help Kailash, and he would always assist her. One day, a dreadful monster entered the jungle. The monster terrorized everyone, and the jungle atmosphere became tense. Kailash saw this and realized that he had to face this difficulty with his ingenuity. He thought that the fairy would surely help him. He called the fairy and explained his problem. The fairy gave Kailash a small stick and said, "This stick will scare away the dreadful monster." Kailash took the stick and went to confront the monster. As soon as he approached, the stick turned into a magical sword. With courage, Kailash stopped the monster and lifted the sword. Seeing the magical sword, the monster got so scared that it ran away. Peace returned to the jungle, and everyone happily returned to their homes. Kailash thanked the fairy once again, and the fairy granted him another boon. This time, the boon was that the power to overcome every difficulty with his honesty and integrity would always be with him. In this way, the friendship and trust between Kailash and the fairy grew deeper day by day, and Kailash, with his honesty and integrity, made his and his companions' lives happy by overcoming every difficulty. Moral from this story, we learn that life always remains happy with honesty and integrity, and helping others always brings progress in life. So we should always help others who are in need.